Today, we're going to lay a foundation for my 2024 plan, and we're just going to kind of take it into pieces. So let's go ahead and get started. Plus, I'm going to do a trade update and some market analysis, and also I want to cover about some people that are talking about recession for 2024, some really smart people, and what I'm seeing and how I'm going to react to those things. So let's go ahead and just dive in today. Hope everybody again had a great Christmas holiday. It was fantastic for everybody. So let's go ahead and talk about the plan. Now, I'm going to highlight somebody that I have been checking out recently. You know, I'm a researcher and a studier, and I love to follow smart people. And this guy here, Greg Duncan, he's a young guy, but he's really smart. And he's also a diver, okay? But he also said that he's really detailed. He's reviewing his performance and he's setting goals and building habits. One of the things that I want to build in is having clear habits, and so I'm going to be sharing that uh, in our plan. I actually have I keep a notepad here with my daily habits and stuff on it because that's really critical. Uh, I want to enjoy my days. I want to do things that are fun, but I want to be, life is short, right? And we want to enjoy it and do our very best. And so I want to make sure that I don't waste any time. Okay. So that's one of the things that I want to be working on as well. But if you can notice here, Greg's really detailed on his chart work, which I appreciate, which I'm going to be doing that as well with you guys. And so he talks about the 5 pillars of successful trading in a system. So pillar number 1 is your edge. Pillar number 2 is your entry tactics. Pillar number 3 is risk management. Then number 4 is general market. And then number 5 is how to increase your trading psychology. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead. He also does this interview here. And I'm going to highlight all of these resources in the links below. But he interviews or he just posts this interview with the trading champion. Okay. This guy had a 941%. His name's Oliver. And again, I study the best. I read books, I study, and I don't just study, but I execute. And so this guy is where he gets this 5-point plan. And he says, if you can't do it on one piece of paper, then it's too complicated, right? So he wrote all his stuff down on one paper. And I'm going to show you what mine is today. All right. So let's switch gears now for just a second. This is the plan that I'm going to be outlining for you. But before I get into that, I want to kind of go over some of the noise that's out there in the market. If you guys look back to one of my other videos, I said we should take a look at the IWM. And it says that percentage of the companies in the Russell 2000 with negative earnings. So you can see that it's dropped a little bit, but we see a big spike in the IWM. So which is right? Is it the chart or is it the fundamental data, right? And that's kind of one of the plays that people talk about for a long period of time. And so what we noticed here is that it's dropped a little bit, negative earnings, and yet we see a big spike in 2023. So it could be a lagging indicator, or it could be an indicator showing that things are moving up. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Because Arite is a guy who's been on my podcast. Great guy. He taught me a lot. Again, I'm studying from wise people. But he said the call buying is interesting. So I looked at my chart here, and you're going to notice that the call buy, this is IWM, the calls are way more calls than puts, right? A lot of calls and puts. And let's go ahead and just look at the chart for this again. We're going to look at the chart right here. You can see that the chart right now is a clear breakout, and I don't know if I mentioned that on the channel, I bought a pretty big position here at the 202. Okay, I bought at the 202 because why? Because we are above this zone. Okay, so as long as we're above this, I'm going to hold. Okay, so my philosophy is I let the charts do the leading, but that doesn't mean I'm totally ignorant about what's going on. I still want to look at things like, okay, people are buying. You can see the buying volume down here. We can see that, yes, I see that that chart was there, but right now I'm going to follow this. This is my guide. Okay, so when I'm going across fundamental data, I always let the charts be my guide because the charts know. The charts know. So with that being said, there's a couple other things that I wanted to share right here, and that is economic recession. Okay, so this is a video that I saw that said that they're wrong, and they're saying that we're going to get a recession here and that this is a bubble. Okay, and so let's see. So he's saying a big spike and then a drop. You see that image? 2001, big spike and a drop. And so he's saying that this year isn't a breakout, but instead they're going to be a big drop. And so to save you some time, you don't have to watch this video because I watched it. I'm going to give you the analysis. He's saying that the big driver here is that the housing market, it's all about the housing market. The housing market is in bad shape, and that the housing market is what leads recessions. And so if homes are too expensive and the housing market slows down, then other things were going to happen. And if you notice here in 2008, he's got the spike there, right? Now, I want to give you a personal story. Some of you might remember this, but I was not in the business that I'm in now in 2008. I was a younger man, early 30s, and my family was just starting. I had 4 kids at the time, and I was working in construction. And so what happened to me was that the market really took a drop because of the housing market. And in construction, I was a laborer. I was working on big projects like schools and hospitals and steel mills, government buildings. I did jobs like that, right? So what happened was in 2008, all of that work really slowed down. And so I was laid off and I couldn't get work. And it worked out really well for me because that got me into trading. It got me into working on creating articles and websites about the market. And so it was worked really well for me. And after the big drop, which you see here, I got back in and, the market did really well. But my point is that the housing market was a big housing crisis. Okay. And that's what caused the recession. And so the charts are telling us that there's going to be a bull market, but the housing market could be a different story. So another number that this video mentions is unemployment, and also talking about the amount of people that are working versus unemployed. And so right now we have a very low number of people. About 62% of the workforce, 62% of the people in the United States are actually working. Only 62%. And so that means that there's a lot of people that are just choosing not to work. And so that impacts the economy, but also unemployment rates. So if unemployment rates start going up and we see the housing crisis really crushing, then we're going to get ourselves into trouble. Also, if we look at this video here, we've got Grant Cardone. He says that we're going to be a renter nation, and that at the end of the interview, and this is a very short interview, he says he believes that we're going to see the greatest correction that he's ever seen. And so that it means he was an investor in 2008, and he shares the story about how he made a lot of money in 2008 because he was scooping up properties. But he says he thinks it's going to be even bigger than that. Okay. And so this is a guy that I listen to because he's really smart. He's a billionaire investor. He's got a lot of houses and he's just a really smart guy. So I pay attention to that. Okay. But even with all that noise out there, I'm still going to put the charts first. So let's look at the S&P 500. Okay. Let's look at the S&P. All right. So the S&P, this is a monthly, I'm going to put up a monthly chart, and I got these levels here. S&P has a 2-month chart. Now, this could be a bubble and a spike, but we just broke this level. And I have always talked about go back to what happened last time. Well, look, last time we broke an all-time high, that was here, right? Look at what happened. Big move. Okay. So we're breaking an all-time high. We could get big moves. So a lot of these guys that are saying recession is coming, a lot of them say that over and over and over again, right? They say it all the time, and they're usually right eventually. Eventually they're right. But we can't invest on that. We can't invest on them being right eventually. So I'm just going to let the charts be my guide, like I always do. I'm aware of what could happen. The reason it's so important to be aware of what could happen, I'm aware that we could have a real estate crisis, but the reason why is because I can't allow that to take all my trading profits away. I can't be so blind as to say, okay, this bull market's a guaranteed thing. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to make it happen. No, I got to be willing to change directions. And if I see one of these levels go, if I see a peak, right, and I see one of these levels go, I got to be willing and able to change my plan, to change my strategy and not be caught up in it. Because I'm not even a lot, most people get caught up in this and then they have a total meltdown because they think that the bull market can't go away. And then they get a bias in their head and they get stuck and they don't take action, right? So we have to follow the charts, make sure that we take action and don't make those same mistakes. Okay. So now with that being said, let's start moving. So I looked at the S&P, I looked at the IWM, and now I want to go back and talk about my trading plan for 24, right? So I've got a bunch of different elements, and I'm going to keep highlighting this as time goes on, but I got a bunch of different elements here. Okay, so we're going to go to my dashboard. These are the different strategies I'm running, and I'm following Greg's advice. Greg says we should put it on one page. I'm following Greg's advice, and I'm going to put that on the one page. But to get started, I'm just going to say, so this is my 52 trades, and I'm going to be doing a webinar on that soon. This is my $1 million Forex plan. I've already highlighted that. This is backdoor income. This is a credit spread. This is DCA, just means dollar cost average. This is an automated robot right here, Infinite Edge. This is my crypto strategy right here. And then this is another crypto strategy. So I'm getting ready to unveil this. I'm going to be I'm going to be updating and just monitoring this on a weekly and yearly performance, and I'm going to adjust as needed. So one of the things I'm going to do is if one of the strategies are performing really well, I'm going to put more money in that, right? So if the crypto strategy starts to go down and it doesn't work real well, and the credit spread is working really good, well, I'm just going to pull some money out of that and put into here. I'm going to put, it's like I talked about with the 80-20, I'm going to put the things that are not performing well, and I'm going to roll them into the things that are performing, right? And that's really one of the things that I'm going to do. So I'm going to be highlighting this, and then each tab, and I'm still not done. Give me some time here. I'm still not done, but each tab has all of the rules, right? So we're going to go to this one, right? And this is following Greg's advice. Okay. I shout out to Greg. I'm going to link to him. He says to have everything written down in a single piece of paper. Well, this is a tiny little note card. Maybe I'm a little bit too brief, but my edge, he says to have an edge. My edge is the weekly charts. And you guys have seen that. That's a big edge. My entry, in my mind, it's a big edge. My entry is that I'm going to find pullbacks and trade within those weekly trends. That's my entry method. Risk is going to be, I'm going to risk 1%, and my total drawdown is going to be less than 4%. And my market planning is going to be, I'm going to do weekly research, and I'm going to post everything on YouTube. So that's how I'm going to do my planning. And then the psychological part, he says, have a psychological edge. Well, one of the things is I'm going to use you all, my YouTube community, to help me keep my edge. Okay. That is part of what will help me. It'll help keep me disciplined. It's going to help keep me on point. And remember, my goal is to make 10 millionaires next year. 2024. And so I have to be doing this to accomplish my other goal, right? One of my goals is to grow this really big, but then the other goal is to create 10 people doing it with me. My good friend, Jeremy, just had a millionaire. Let's see if I can find him here. Jeremy, my good, and I do mean good friend. He's a good friend right here. He just posted. He says, "Hey, I got a new millionaire in the crowd, right?" And so right here we have another millionaire, and so that's what I'm looking at doing too with you guys. And so we're going to be seeing stuff like this. I'm very excited about that. We got another millionaire. That's the goal. I'm excited to see that. It's going to be awesome. And let's keep going. You know, this year will be 10 millionaires. Next year, maybe 100. And then after that, let's see if we can get people to the 10 million and the 100 million. So I'm thinking about this for a long-term vision. But this is my strategy dashboard. By the way, if you have any questions about any of the components, don't hesitate to ask. I just had Justin on the channel said, "Hey, I need to learn about call and put options." And so I have an article here that talks about how to make money with these. And so I'm going to post that link in. So anytime you get a question, since I'm helping you guys learn to be millionaires, I got to be able to answer questions, right? And so here we go. This is an answer to a question for Justin. Go to this article, read about it, and I'll do some training on it too. If anybody else wants more training on the put and call options, I'll do a video just on that. Okay. But this will be good to get you started on how to do that. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you very soon. See you tomorrow.